Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Kat, founder of Movement for Modern Life, and welcome. Welcome to our final yoga retreat. So, if you weren't around for the first two yoga retreats, I'm sorry, but you can always do them again. But the first one was about homecoming, and it was about what is it to come home to ourselves. And of course, that was when lockdown was just starting. We were all like, hi, we're at home, and what is that all about? Because I don't know about you, but for me, home has always just really been a place to sleep, in between meetings and running around and things like that. And lockdown really gave me a new, a whole new way of looking at home. And of course, yoga is all about being at home. Oh, hello, hello. I'm joined by some of you. Hello, Melly. Hello, Kathy. It's lovely to have you back on another retreat, Kathy. And I'm looking over here because my comments are over here. And the next yoga retreat. Oh, hiya, Alex. It's lovely, lovely to have you here. And hello, Chantal. It's great to have you on board. And hi, Yvonne. So the first one was about homecoming. The second one was all about being here now. So what is it to be okay with discomfort? And that, of course, is a very yogic quality. All of you will have done the yoga class this morning, maybe. First retreat from Kay. Hi, Kay. And hi, Pauline. Hi, Iraqi. And hi, Kate. And hello, Jenny. It's lovely to see so many of you familiar. You've been on the last few retreats. Hello, Emma. And hiya, Heidi. It's great to have you back. And hi, Emma. So it's really lovely to be joined by so many of you. It's very heartening to know that we've got this lovely community to work through all of the stuff that lockdown and our yoga practice is bringing us. So the second retreat was all about being okay with discomfort. And for all of you guys who practice yoga regularly, I sometimes call yoga an exercise in pain management, because it's kind of about getting to know your body and getting to know the different kinds of pains, different kinds of aches, and getting to know how your body feels with everything. Because as you all know, there are good pains, there are aches, there's the kind of my body is alive type of not pain, but an awareness, a sensation. All of it is a sort of form of coming alive. It's so lovely to have you here, Viv. And hi, Salome. And hi again, Lisa. It's great to have you again. So, yoga as an exercise in pain management is always something that I kind of think of, because it's about recognizing what is good pain, bad pain, what sensations are, and how we can use them. And it's kind of a process of coming alive. And for me, this third retreat is kind of the most important for me, because although the comfort with discomfort and being here now and being at home, obviously this is what it's all about. But I know, because we've all been on these journeys together now, a lot of us have learned lots of lessons from lockdown. And I just thought it would be really lovely for us to, before we all dash back to normal, whatever normal is, we just have a moment, give ourselves 10 days sacred pause, give ourselves some time to really check in with each other, with ourselves, and work out, gosh, what was that? What has just happened in the last 13 weeks? What have I just learned? I mean, we've all had, in a way, we've been in the same boat, because we're all in our homes, unless you're key workers. But, we're in our homes. But again, we're all in slightly sort of different scenarios, aren't we? Because some people are in the inner cities and you've got lots of children and it's tough. And I'm lucky to live in the countryside with a beautiful garden. So I've obviously had a really easier lockdown than lots of other folks. So I think although we're in the same boat, it's really good to notice that actually, there are differences, and to be very aware and to be a bit sensitive that everybody goes through something a little bit different to what we do. So reimagining normal is something that really has sprung up for me, because everyone wants to go back to normal. But I mean, I have loved the clear air. I've loved the simplicity. I've loved having nothing in my diary. It's been amazing. There's been a lot for me that has been difficult, and there's been a lot of anxious making moments. But I kind of don't want to be just, oh, that was then, because maybe this is the only time we'll experience anything like this in our lives. And maybe it's really a lovely time to just learn and just all of us take stock, all of us all together. And there's no right and there's no wrong. And I think that's a really important thing to say at the start of this retreat. So I wanted to just have our first talk just with me, I'm not in the yogic way, but just in a, let's all prepare together. Andrea tomorrow is going to set us off with our affirmations. But today, just, we're in it together. I've got my little journal. I've got a new journal, which I'm going to be writing my thoughts in about the practices and about what I've learned, because I want this to be an important time for solidifying what is it that I've been through? What were these thoughts? Because I know that for a lot of us, there's been ups and downs, moment by moment. Things are feeling very different. They're feeling very frenetic. But in a way, I think the lovely thing about journaling, and as we were saying in the little journal, hopefully you have been able to download the PDF, is that actually, if you can take time to pause, first thing in the morning is perfect, but just get your thoughts out there. Because there's nothing as scary as a blank page. I write a lot, and I know that a blank page is just awful. But actually, it's a brilliant spot for just working out and inquiring, to taking a little self-inquiry, to working out what our thoughts are and how we feel during our practice. So in today's practice, it was a feisty one, right? A lot of stuff came up for me about the affirmations, about the what is my intention for this? Because, am I doing yoga to practice for long hamstrings? Am I doing yoga for physical fitness? And for me, it's really not. I'm practicing to gain a sort of awareness. So I think it would be lovely if we could all write down some of your thoughts for why is it that you're on the retreat? What is it that you're hoping for? It would be great if you could do an intention setting around this retreat, so that, because for me, this retreat is about solidifying a structure for all of the many ups and downs and thoughts that I've had during this lockdown period, because in a way, I don't want it all to escape, to run off into the air and biff, baff, buff, all we go with our normal lives. I want to really make sure that I've learnt some lessons, and that I can use this and have it as something that I can refer back to and keep myself on track with, So that for me is what my intention is for the retreat. It's a sort of solidifying, it's making real all the promises that I'm making to myself. So I'd love to hear what yours are, and perhaps you'd like to journal about it. That would be a really cool thing. Oh, hello, Diane. It's lovely to have you back on another of our retreats. And hello, Hazel, again. Just finished class. It's a fabulous one, wasn't it? So that's what, for me, the intention of this is, and I think it would be nice to share it. The next thing is, part of this retreat for me is about a breadth of perspective, because normal is something that, everybody's talking about. Let's go back to normal. But there have been clear skies, there's been a lot of space created, and I'd love to really reimagine, take a proper root and branch reimagining of my life, of the way I live my life, of the way I conduct my relationships, of the way that I see my family and friends, of the way I run Movement for Modern Life, because of course this is my little baby. And especially in over the last couple of weeks with Black Lives Matter, a lot of things have been brought to to the front of my mind. And I want to learn, and I want to really imagine what does normal mean, to really take a thorough look, a thorough self-analysis as what is in my mind, how much bias have I got, and I'm going to get some help with this. I'm going to get some people to really help me see how I can clean up my act. And I think sometimes it's good to get help with difficult things, but part of our job as a yogi is to observe. So for me, a big part of this retreat is going to be letting you guys and let's all go off and observe how we really are, because it's that real process of self-inquiry. I think sometimes in yoga, as in life, we're wanting to just dash off and be like, yep, I'm doing this. This is what it's all about. But actually, I think it can be good to really take a moment to look inwards and think, what is it? Where is this emotion coming from? How do I feel? And that for me is the beauty of yoga. Before I start my practice, I check in with myself. And before and after I finish my practice, I check in. So it's that little thing of, how do I feel now? And the thing is, I guess, we're always wanting to compare, or we're wanting to be like, this is how I am. But actually, how am I really? Not how was I yesterday, or how was I 10 years ago, or how should I be feeling, or, oh gosh, maybe I'll just, my back's a bit achy, but I'll just power on through it. But how am I really? And it was lovely, Alex, to hear your comment that I'm sorry you haven't been well, but in a way, that power of self-observation and taking yourself to a slightly different place, so not doing the classes as prescribed, because there's no one prescription. We've all got very different bodies. We're all doing different things. We've all got very different histories, very different physiologies. We can't all be expected to do the same thing. So being able to go on your own journey and being brave enough to do that well, that for me is what this is about. And that's the power of discernment. And actually, I think judging has got a bad name in this kind of culture, but actually maybe there is a discernment. Maybe there's a power to be, I'm on day 5 of my period and I'm feeling a bit funny, and maybe this class doesn't suit me. Maybe I fancy doing something a little softer. And I really, really, I'm just seeing on the corner of my eye, the PDF is on the welcome email. So thanks, Alex and Victoria. Hopefully you'll get that, Lisa. And I can send a little link to that as well in this. But this is the reason why there is no evening practice, because actually I think a lot of us are on our 3rd home retreat, and our powers of looking inwards are maybe getting a little stronger. Our powers of self-observation, our powers of knowing what is it that we really need, and not the needs of what society says that we need. I think part of the joy of lockdown as well has been, in a way, when you're in your own home, you're slightly removed from society's expectations. You don't need to have a special haircut. There's no haircut. There's, maybe your relationship with your body is less as the observed, which is how it is for many of us when, we walk down the high street and we know that other people are judging us. Well, no, this is just about coming inwards. So maybe that is an interesting thing to look at. And maybe that power of observation is something that we should really build on. It's a very interesting principle in permaculture as well. Permaculture is a way of designing gardens and homes and life in accordance to principles, which are, fair shares for everybody and future care and people care. So I think that observation is really going to be key for us all. And I think observation of how is it that we have really been during lockdown, and what is it that we really intend for the rest of our lives, for normal. Oh, I've got some lovely, there are some lovely comments. Carol, lockdown has changed my life. I was all set to move to be near the sister. Oh my goodness. Then lockdown happened. I couldn't leave. So I've now found a new cottage close to family, but more rural. Isn't that amazing? It's just so amazing that all of these changes are happening to people. And sometimes, at the beginning, you're like, oh my goodness, I was meant to be doing this and this is my plan. But actually, when things are a bit different, doesn't it open up a different space? I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure you've all got crazy busy timetables and schedules like I do. And the whole of 2020 was booked up. Every single weekend, every single day was booked. And if somebody wanted to have a coffee with me, I'd be on November. And it's been such a gift to have that space in my diary. I know a lot of you guys have got kids, and it's been the opposite, because imagine having a full-time job and kids to look after at home as well, and homeschool. So, that's very different. But actually, that will have opened up new possibilities. That will have opened up new relationships. That will have opened up new conversations, new things that you're maybe thinking of with your kids, with your family. How is it that you want to relate in the future? And that, for me, is the power of discernment and observation, and this being unafraid. I'd love us all to be really unafraid, to be a bit more like Carol. I mean, goodness, I think that's so brave. You've now, you've got a new little cottage close to your family, and your moving date's in August. But actually, it takes that braveness to have the structures taken away, the things that we all expected we were going to do, and just say, whoa, all of that's gone, because that's what lockdown was, really, wasn't it? It's like one day, 18th of March or whatever, we were planning our yoga retreat. We were all going on retreat, for day retreat to Cambridge. So that got cancelled. And then it's like, what else does this open up? And it's being aware and looking around us. And actually, we didn't do the retreat, but lots of other things did happen. And it's taking that pause. What is it that happened? And how is it that we can reimagine things? Oh, Alex, I'm so glad you're on your path to recovery. Yeah, I do feel encouraged, because, it can be hard. Of course, recovering from illness is so tough. But actually, again, there'll be possibilities, there'll be openings. So I think, wouldn't it be great if all of us as a community, we can all just reimagine how we want life to look like? And Sam, it's lovely to have you back as well. Really like Kirsten's class, reminding us to use our inner teacher. That's what it's about. She guides us, encourages us to begin shining a light on darker parts of ourselves. Yeah, exactly. I think that you're absolutely right, because we all want to be this shiny, happy, perfect version of ourselves with the perfect hair and the perfect life. But actually, just being able to shine a light on our true selves, on our authentic selves. I mean, gosh, that's so much more important, isn't it? So that's really a very, very beautiful way to be. So in the little workbook that Raki and I have come up with, which I really hope that you've been enjoying, we've got some questions, some daily questions, and I wanted to kick off the reason for the questions and maybe ask you how you're feeling. So the reasons today I'm grateful for, and the reason why I always go back to gratitude is because I know that when I'm feeling grateful, I'm feeling softer, I'm feeling observant around my life, around what I'm doing in my life. And I know that I'm in that mode of self-reflection, and it makes me feel happier to feel gratitude. And I first started practicing gratitude formally again in my journal. Miriam, you're new to yoga and your first retreat. Wow, congratulations on joining us. I'm so glad. I really hope you have a good experience, and go easy on your body, because some of these classes might be tough for the first one. So if you need to swap them out with our beginners classes, that's a good choice, good yogi's choice. So the gratitude has really changed me. So I used to write down every day the 10 things that I was most grateful for. And of course, at the beginning, you just write the obvious things: my health, my family, my loved ones, my home. You write these very obvious things. And then the more you practice gratitude, the deeper you can go into it. And I'm sure that you guys have found this as well, because you start off, doing the very obvious things. And then you think, oh, I'm really grateful for my morning cup of coffee. And then you can go a bit deeper into that. Well, what did it take? What did it take to get my morning cup of coffee? Of course, there'd have been a coffee plantation. I'm grateful for the growers. I'm grateful to the pickers. I'm grateful for the people who are looking after the soil, which means that future crops can grow on that soil. I'm grateful for the weather and for the ecosystems, be able to grow in the climate. Then I'm grateful for the people who put things in the bags and who made the bags. And then I'm grateful for the people who drove the lorries across the continents to be able to pick up the beans, and the processing people. And you think every tiny little thing that we take for granted, every pen, everything that we have is created by somebody out of natural resources. And that thought of gratitude, for me, it just spirals into a big picture. And it's so humbling for me. So today I'm grateful for is a really, really important part of yoga and of being happy, because also studies have shown that the more grateful you are, the happier you are. Well, of course, because once you realize, gosh, this blessed cup of coffee, wow, and all of the things that happen to make this, it's mind-boggling. You think of all of the systems that we have, and if we're grateful for that, gosh, it couldn't be any better. And then the next question is, today I'll practice kindness, patience, and understanding by. And I've taken those qualities, as suggested. I don't know if you've seen Norman Blair's writings on COVID, but that was from him. And I love patience, kindness, and understanding, because in the lockdown times, things have been quite heady, quite frenetic. And I think that reminder to practice kindness, patience, and understanding, because these are practices. They're just like a muscle. And we all know that sometimes it's not easy to practice kindness, patience, or understanding, but it's like a muscle. It's like, if you want to bicep, you go to the gym, you lift your weights. And if you don't lift your weights, you're not going to succeed on that. So how we practice kindness, how are we going to do that? What exact forms will that take? And I think it's really interesting to ask those questions. And the patience, how can I be more patient and understanding? Maybe that will involve listening. Maybe it'll involve compassion as a practice. Maybe it'll involve taking deep breaths instead of rushing. One thing that COVID has, and the whole lockdown situation has brought me, is a sense of peace, because I'm not rushing around. My car's now been in the garage for 13 weeks. It's brilliant. I'm practicing a lot of stillness, a lot of patience. And I think that it's really important to think in advance, how are we going to practice these things? And maybe these questions, these prompts will help you in thinking that as well. Oh, Tash, I have to go. I didn't manage to empty your diary. Oh, we'll see you soon, Tash, and you can catch up later. And then I think the other things that it's really important to think about is my second calming practice. Well, what is it that I actually need? Do I this evening need, I normally practice a yin yoga class at night, because I find it really calming, helps the body to get ready for the second part, the last part of the day. But sometimes I need to move a little bit, because I've been sat at my desk and I have achy shoulders. So you really think, what is it that you would like? And I'd love it if you guys would be able to share what your second practices are on the movers group, because it'd be really, really great to be able to share what we're all up to. And then to really check in with yourself before your practice, I felt, and before and after my practice, I felt, and after my afternoon practice, I felt. So you're able to get used to checking in. How is it to be you today? And I think that if we do nothing else on this yoga retreat, just having that a few times a day, that checking in, taking some breaths, shutting your eyes, and maybe just, how am I feeling? How am I really? It's really important. And that will perhaps help us to harness that kindness, the patience, the understanding, because when we get frenetic, when things trigger us, as they do in life, maybe that'll become a practice. That'll be a calm way that we're able to just be in the world. I'm going to have a look through some of your comments, because it looks like we've got some really lovely ones. Heidi, thank you for sharing. Lockdown has been a game changer. Discovered your magnum opus. Wow, I need to hear more about that, Heidi. Do let us know on the movers group. That sounds fabulous. I too have had an amazing lockdown, and I need to record it and take it all in before we all gallop off. I'm grateful to have joined this retreat. Oh, thank you, Millie. My mum, Emma, suggests we do it together. Oh, what a lovely way of connecting with your mum, Millie. I really, really hope you enjoy it. I do this with my mum. My mum is normally here. She should be somewhere. So it's a really nice way of checking in with family. And I also haven't seen my mum in 4 months. So it is a lovely way of being able to go through something meaningful together. And maybe if you guys, you're able to just bring friends in to go through some of the journaling, that might be nice. Jess, you've learned so much during lockdown, carrying lots of changes to your daily life with a very flexible schedule. Those who maybe turn to working hours still incorporate yoga and new habits into your life. Well, yeah, I think that's right. I think because I'm the same, I work from home and I can practice when I want, but it doesn't mean that I practice enough. So I think that getting the good, healthy habits is really important for every single one of us, working at home or not. Sandy, can't find the workbook. Okay, we'll give you a link, Sandy. But it's on the welcome email, which you should have got after you signed up. Oh, Sam, I'm really grateful for the courtesy between silent strangers. I think that's a beautiful thing, because there's been a lot of quiet courtesy going out and about, hasn't there? There's been a lot of acknowledging of other people and an awareness, I think, that a lot of people are suffering. They're going through some very, very deep levels of anxiety. And I think people have been softer with each other, have been a little kinder. And perhaps more real with each other. And that isn't that a lovely thing? Jenny, grateful to be part of these retreats. Yay. And this group leading to many changes to your life. Jenny, I'd love to hear more about that. Yes, you're another lockdown lover. Alice, looking forward to using the retreat to find some space for myself after months of non-stop childcare, which can be really overwhelming. I bet. But actually being able to now take a little pause and have a little bit of time of reflection and ability to give back to yourself so that your kindness, patience, and understanding can come back to your children. That would be a brilliant thing as well, I'm sure. Oh, yoga nidra tonight. Now, Susanna, I think that is a top choice, and I might follow your lead on that, because I love yoga. I just think that yoga nidra is one of the secrets of yoga. It's actually the reason, yeah, it's the reason why I founded Movement for Modern Life, really, because I went through a time of being very uncertain about what I was going to do in life, and I just followed my heart by I used to do an hour's practice, yoga nidra practice every day. And it really helped me to quiet my mind and my heart and led me to a place where I sort of was able to follow my heart. And then when opportunities came up, as they do, I was able to listen, because that's the power of observation. When we're a little quieter, when we're listening to our heart, then we are able to see what the world is able to offer us. But if our minds are busy and our bodies are busy, there's no opportunity to do that. So I think yoga nidra is such a great choice. Will you share with us how you get on with that, Susanna? Oh, Emma, looking forward to doing it with Millie. That's wonderful. Self-kindness, quite difficult. Try and work on this in this retreat. Hazel, you're absolutely right. I find it really hard. I'm really hard on myself. I'm a perfectionist. I'm constantly finding myself beating myself up. It's something that my partner picks up on all the time. And I think it's really common in this society to think that we need to be hard on ourselves because that'll help us to push us through. That'll help us to make us better and be a better person. But actually, being kinder to ourselves is what will get us through, I think, because then we'll be able to see, oh, that was a good thing that we did, and we'll want to carry on doing that good thing rather than just, oh, aren't I terrible? Oh, I always do this. These words that we have about ourselves. So I think self-kindness, yes, I'm absolutely with you on that. I really, really want to work on my self-kindness as well. Sam, your second practice will be Janelle. Oh, yes. Janelle's classes are just amazing, and I hope that you've been listening to the work that she's been doing lately, because she's a phenomenal woman, an amazing activist, and craving her very kind and musical tone of voice. Yes. And I think when you are around and when you have the influence of very kind people, it makes us kinder as well. So I think that being part of a community where we are loving and accepting of other people, with all of our flaws, our good bits, our bad bits, but you know what? We're all here as a community. We're all just, we're all trying, we're all making a commitment to try our best in some tricky times. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So, yeah. Second practice is restorative yoga. Okay. Yeah, I think restorative is a really, really great choice. And the lovely thing about restorative is it's not about the sensation seeking. You just can relax and surrender into the ground. So I think it's lovely that you're sharing what your second practices are. If you're able to post on the movers group, copy your link and post the class, then for others who are struggling to work out what might be good, it'll give everybody different ideas for what we can do, because sometimes it can seem daunting. I understand that. We've got 1,300 classes on the site and say, which one do I need, is a daunting thing. So just to have ideas from other people, it's really helpful. And I think as well, I just wanted to say, I'm going to go in a couple of seconds, but I just wanted to say that it's a really important thing to be here, to be part of the community, to be able to contribute is massive, because again, in our society, in our world, we often want to hide ourselves away. We don't want to be the one writing the thing. We want to be sitting back and taking it in. But actually, being the person who's brave enough to come forward and share and contribute your ideas, that's gold. That's really, really wonderful. And that's a brave thing to do. And I completely understand that it's difficult and it's brave. I mean, here I am talking to myself in my little home office. It's a crazy, brave, silly thing to do. But you never know who you'll inspire. So that's all I'd say to you guys. Please do share your journeys, because my journey is only mine. I'm going to share with you what I'm going through, but if you share what you're going through, there might be somebody else who is feeling something similar, and they will feel a lot more supported, a lot more uplifted by what you say. So share what's going on, share your journey, share what you're grateful for, share how you're practicing kindness, patience, understanding, share what your retreat intentions are and what your second classes of the day are. So that's a lot of things to share. You can share whichever ones you feel comfortable with. But I think that it's important to, especially at this time, we're now learning the need to step up. We all need to have our good, kind voices heard, because, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in this world to try to recreate a better normal than it has been. So I'd love for you guys to be able to share with each other. Oh, Fiona, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yes, I understand. I rarely comment on these groups as well, but it really does help other people. So thank you for joining in. I appreciate that. It is a safe community, Alex. That's so kind of you to say so. We're really non-judgmental. We're all just trying our best here. Frankie, since the last retreat, I've been finding the 10-minute body scan with Clive a helpful way to end the day. Yes, body scan is such an amazing way to get into our embodiment. And again, once we're embodied, we're not in our heads. And if we're not in our heads, we're not worrying about the future. We're not worrying about what others think of us. We're just being. We're being true to ourselves. And that's the best thing that we can be. Oh, hello, Mum. My mum's here. That's nice. I try to balance my classes. One physically more challenging, and the second one where I'm more at ease. Yes, that's a lovely way. So thank you, guys. Thank you for joining in from the bottom of my heart. I really am grateful to you guys for coming together. This is a lovely big group of us. There's a lot of people who signed on to this retreat, and there'll be lots of people watching live, but there'll be many more who don't watch live, who want to hear your comments, who want to hear how you are getting on, because we are here to uplift each other. So on that note, I'm going to start journaling. I'm going to be back tomorrow with wonderful Andrea, who's going to talk to us about the power of affirmation. In the meantime, if you'll have read the workbook, you'll also know that the things that I'm talking about, we've got talks on happiness, sustainability, simplicity, all these little things which have come up for me during lockdown and for me are really important. But I want to hear what's been important for you, because I only have a limited experience, and I want to hear what's been going on for you so that you can all support each other. Okay, and Kate, you're right. It's so important to make sense of what we've all been through, because we've all been through something very, very, very significant together. It feels like no time in the world. And I just think that if we can make sense of this together, this will be absolutely brilliant. So, Emma, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that you're here. Yes, the live talks will be available later. Absolutely. They'll be here on the Movers group, and they will appear. Well, just have a look here on the Movers group. Oh, thank you. Guys, you guys are brilliant. So, thank you for your gratitude, Sam. Honestly, it's a pleasure for me. You guys uplift me. So, thank you. And thanks a lot, Heidi. I'm glad you're printing out your workbook. And Millie, liberate your hips with Janelle is perfect. You're absolutely right. It comes later in the week, towards the end of the challenge, but it's such a good class. Paula, thank you. You've lifted me up too. All right, guys, I really appreciate your time. Please continue the conversation. Let's lift each other up and remain really positive, but real. So if stuff is going on for you guys, share it. That's okay, because stuff will be going on for other people too. All right, take really good care of yourselves. I'm off onto my mat, and I'm going to let you know what class I'm going to do in a bit. All right, take care, guys. Bye.